Welcome to the space for transformational leaders to unleash their magic, see better client results, work lighter, and live source. Think about the biggest problem in your life right now. If you had a magic wand and you could solve that problem immediately, what would that be worth for you? I'm Darla Ledoux, the founder of Sourced and author of Shift the Field, and let's talk about money for your magic right now. So I want you to imagine that you have that magic wand. What is your client's biggest problem that they have right now, and what would it be worth to them to solve it? I want to take you back to early in my days as a coach, way back 12 years ago now when I first started my business. And I remember trying to set my pricing. I had a spreadsheet and I would come up with all of the different prices and I would map out. I'm a recovering engineer, right? So you can imagine I would map out, depending on how many clients I would get each month, at what price, how much money would I be able to make. And inevitably at the end of my spreadsheet was a number that felt just way too small for me to be able to have the life that I wanted. And I was in this place, like inching up my pricing. And of course, I was doing my spreadsheets to avoid actually talking to potential clients. So there's that. But I would inch my pricing up, but it would never quite add up to a number that was really exciting for me. And then I remember having this aha, and I was thinking about my own journey. I had been first trained as a coach 10 years before I started my business. And I knew I loved it. I knew that was the work that I wanted to do. However, I had an energy pattern, what I call a default energy, that was keeping me from actually acting on this thing that I knew I was going to love. My default pattern was this idea that I had to be smart to get love. And quitting my engineering job to become a coach did not seem like a smart idea. And so no matter what I did, no matter how many self-help books I read, no matter how many interviews I did with people in different careers to try to figure out what I was meant to do with my life, I couldn't figure it out. I literally spent what I call 10 years in the self-help aisle, reading, analyzing every single book about who you're meant to be and what you should do with your life. Who can I be when I grow up? And it made no difference. It made no difference because I was reading every single one of these things through the same default energy filter. I have to be smart to get love. And so all of the personality profiles and everything were pointing me right to this career that I have today, but I couldn't see it. I couldn't receive it because I had a block I needed to transform. When I finally got myself into a container, I went on a retreat where I could see and transform this pattern where I really got that this belief I have to be smart to get love was getting in the way all over the place. And I could let it go and create a new belief, a new foundation for my life. Then all of a sudden it was like, oh, of course I should be a coach. And from there it became easy. And I kid you not, even though, there's been struggles, once I transformed that, building my coaching business became as natural as breathing. Now, what does this have to do with you? I had a really big problem, which is I didn't know what to do with my life. I was in a career I knew was not the right path for me, but I couldn't seem to figure out what was the right path for me. And I spent 10 years on my own trying to figure it out through the same filter until I got in a room and committed to my own transformation. And once that belief shifted, doing the work I loved became easy. So fast forward, here I am doing the work I love, but undercharging for it. I was sitting in my office with my spreadsheet, calculating, what should my rate be in order for me to make a living wage. And suddenly I remembered my own journey, my own experience, my 10 years in the self-help pile. And I said, what would I have paid 10 years ago if someone could have saved me 10 years of reading self-help books and not doing what I love? So what does this have to do with you? What is the biggest issue that your client has, and what would it be worth for them to solve it? What if them choosing to work with you could save them 10 years in the self-help aisle? What would that be worth? All of a sudden, the investment to work with me made so much more sense at a higher price, right? I was suddenly willing to receive money for my magic. So I was charging about $375 per month for my coaching, and the very next offer I made was for $6,000. Nothing had changed within me and who I was. I already knew I was good at what I did. I just didn't understand the value in my client's life until that moment. So can you save your clients 10 years in the self-help aisle? Or what's the equivalent for you? If you're a relationship coach, can you save your clients attorney fees in getting a divorce? If you are a parenting coach, right? Can you save sleepless nights for the next 18 years, right? How can you frame up what your magic will help people to do in a way that you can really communicate the value? And it's even less about communicating it, because your client probably knows the value. It's you being willing to receive the money for your magic, because your magic is natural for you. And so it can be really, really easy to diminish the value of it, right? Like, oh, all I'm doing is showing up an hour a week. No, you're doing so much more than that. If you're really able to help someone, remember, transform that default energy pattern that they're viewing everything through, like remove that filter so they can see it with fresh eyes. That's going to change everything for them for the rest of their life. So in my example, what if I could have started my business 10 years sooner? Not only like what level would my business have been at, but how many more people could I have served, and how much further would my mission have been had I started 10 years sooner? Like, what is that really worth? I'd love to hear, what is this bringing up for you when you think about receiving money for your magic in a new way? When you're not thinking about that, how many hours am I giving? Or, oh my gosh, people can't afford it. And you start to think about this problem your magic can solve, and how can they actually afford not to do it? Let me know in the comments. Please remember to like and subscribe, and we release a new video once a week. So tell your friends. This is Darla Ledoux, founder of Sourced, author of Shift the Field, and we'll see you soon.